So I want to start by saying thank you to Geneviève Leclerc and to the Conductors Guild for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you today. So I'm a Montreal-based composer and I write concert music as well as video game music. So collaborating with a composer is too often seen as a duty, so something complicated that will require time and energy and that won't contribute to ticket sales. However, a composer can provide original material specifically tailored for a concert, so a unique content that will make the orchestra stand out from others. So more specifically, here are some of the main benefits of collaborating with a composer. So a composer can create or contribute to a theme of a concert. So they can compose a piece that celebrates or commemorates an important event or person, for example, celebrating the anniversary of the orchestra city or someone important in the local community. They can also compose a piece that addresses issues of our times. So for example, a piece that raises awareness on climate change. They can also compose a piece that would complete a theme program. So let's say we want to do a concert about winter. We already have a few ideas of piece about winter that comes up to mind, but why not also commission a piece to a local composer who will write a piece about winter in our own city, so that can connect with the population of that specific location, because winter in Quebec, as you might have noticed this morning, is not exactly the same as maybe where you come from. A composer can add or contribute to a special feature in the concert. So let's say they can compose a piece that would feature a special instrument or a special soloist. So for example, a concerto for wind quintet, or a concerto for banjo, or a concerto that would feature a special skill or personality of a specific soloist. They can compose also a piece that would integrate a multimedia component. So of course, an orchestra can simply add some visual on some pre-existing music, but by collaborating with a composer, they can create music that is perfectly tailored and intended for a specific visual. So it has much more impact and much more meaningful. They can compose a piece that would create an interaction with the audience. For example, in the opera Karma Flow, at different moments of the performance, the audience vote with an app in which direction they want the story to evolve. So each presentation is unique, and the audience has the impression that they're involved in some way in the storyline. And sometimes a composer can be involved in the performance, either as a musician, a narrator, or handling a multimedia component. So a composer can be also a great ambassador and promote the concert in which his piece is performed. So they can contribute to the media presence of the concert, either by participating in interviews, by writing articles or blog posts, or simply by being active in social media and talking about the concert and about their piece. They can also make some community outreach. So for example, going in school and talking to students about the concert and about their piece, or by involving a specific community group in the creative process. They can also have a special contact with the audience, either with a pre- or post-concert talk, or during the performance, simply by presenting their piece to the audience. They can write also a piece specifically to attract a specific audience. For example, a specific age bracket, or social or minority group, or any audience unfamiliar with classical music. And they can also collaborate with a sponsor or a local business that would, something that would involve them more than just a mention in the program, something that would make them want to contribute more. So these are all effective ways of maximizing a collaboration with a composer, but don't consider these benefits individually. See this more as a kind of checklist that can help you combine different of them into one project. As examples, here are 4 of my projects that combines some of these benefits of collaborating with a composer. So Symphonic Chocolate is an orchestral suite in 4 short movements, and each movement evokes a different flavor of chocolate. And while the orchestra performs each movement, the audience has a box of chocolate with the 4 corresponding flavors, and they can eat each chocolate as the music is performed. So it's kind of a soundtrack for chocolate tasting. So the first movement is Caramel Chocolate. So it's a long lyrical melody played by the cello, supported by rich orchestral texture, and it evokes the rich, thick, creamy texture of caramel. second movement is dark chocolate. So the intensity of the flavor is evoked by tango and habanero rhythm, and the bitterness of the taste is evoked by light dissonance. So the third movement is mint chocolate. So you know when you eat mint, you have this cold and fresh feeling in your mouth? Well, that's what I try to evoke with the music. The fourth movement is coffee-infused chocolate. So for me, coffee evokes Brazil. So I've composed a piece by using some of choro and samba rhythms. And also when I drink coffee, I feel very energetic. So the piece is very fast tempo. So what were the benefits of collaborating with a composer for this specific project? So we did a collaboration with a local business. So each time symphonic chocolate is performed, the orchestra makes a collaboration with a local chocolate shop. And the chocolate shop can donate the chocolate as a sponsorship, or sometimes the chocolate shop will set up a table and sell the chocolate, and this can be also a fundraiser for the orchestra. I'm often involved in the performance, so I can present each movement and guide the chocolate tasting to help the audience eat the corresponding chocolate. So this renews the concert experience for the audience. The chocolate tasting concert does create some form of interaction with the audience, and it does also attract new audience. So a lot of people came to the concert simply because they were curious to try out a chocolate tasting concert. So symphonic chocolate can complete a theme program. So it's often programmed during Valentine's Day, and sometimes it's programmed with a theme of a chocolate concert. They would program, let's say, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So since most of the works that are being programmed are by dead composer, the audience is not used to meet a composer. So it adds something special to their experience to have the composer participate in a pre-concert talk. It gives the audience the opportunity to learn more about creative process of the composer. And for symphonic chocolate, we also often invite the chocolatier to take part in that pre or post-concert talk. So symphonic chocolate always have a strong media presence, so interviews, article, and good concert review. So the concept is original and appealing, so it helps promoting the concert and the orchestra as well. So United Anthem is another one of my compositions that combines various benefits of collaborating with a composer. It was a commission by the Toronto Symphony Orchestra and the McGill Chamber Orchestra, which is now the Orchestre Classique de Montréal, for a 2-minute piece to celebrate Canada's 150th anniversary. So the conductor, Boris Brott, wanted the piece to also be able to open another show, which was a young audience show called Isabella Tarantella, in which an alien comes to Earth, meet the orchestra, and the orchestra perform music from all over the world for the alien. So how to find a concept that can fit those two means? So I got the idea of composing a mashup of 35 anthems from all over the world. So this works well for the young audience show because the alien will hear the excerpt of anthem from all over the world. And it works well also for the Canada's anniversary since the country was built from people from all over the world. So here's a short excerpt of that piece. benefits of collaborating with a composer for this specific project? So the orchestra got an original piece that celebrates a current event, so the 150th anniversary of Canada, and at the same time a piece that completes a theme program, which was the Youth Audience Concert. Often, United Anthem is performed with projection on screen of the flag of each of the corresponding nation. So this multimedia component enhanced the concert experience of the audience and deepened their understanding of the piece. And the images of the flags are all contained in a simple PowerPoint file. And in the score, there's a staff that indicates exactly where to change each image. So it's simple for the orchestra. You simply need someone to follow the score and change each image at the corresponding time. And this is another example of a situation where the involvement of the composer can contribute to a concert, in this case by handling the multimedia component. So by collaborating with a composer, this gives the opportunity to the audience to meet the composer, and in this case, see me introduce my composition to the audience and explain my concept. United Anthem also got a very popular spin on the internet. So great article on Classical FM and WQXR, an interview on Global News, and the YouTube video of that piece has more than 36,000 views, 1,000 likes, so which is pretty good for a new concert piece performed by a local orchestra. So the concept, again, is original and appealing, so it helps the orchestra extend their presence online. Another project, each year the Orchestre Symphonique de Laval gives the opportunity to one of its musicians to play a concerto as a soloist. And when the first bassoonist of the orchestra was offered to perform as a soloist, he approached me to commission a piece. So I then had a few meetings with him and brainstormed some ideas. And the idea that he liked the most was to have a piece in short movement where each movement evoked a different kind of circus act. So clown, magician, tightrope walker, and so on. So here's an excerpt of the Leon Tamer movement. Collaborating with a composer for this specific project. So the orchestra got an original concerto specifically tailored for one of their own musicians. And also the bassoonist Michel Bété and the conductor Alain Trudel have a great sense of humor. So the piece showcased this aspect of their personality. And it also gave the opportunity to feature an unfamiliar instrument because there isn't that many bassoon concerto in the repertoire. So as a multimedia component, each movement is highlighted by a specific costume element and some acting by the soloist and the conductor. So each of these were prepared closely in collaboration with the soloist and the conductor. So they came to my studio a few times and we tried out the acting and the costume. And it was really important for me to make sure that they're both very comfortable with all the process. And again, by collaborating with a composer, this gives the opportunity to the audience to meet a composer, and in this case, see me introduce the composition and explain the concept of the piece. So in 2017, I created the Montreal Video Game Symphony to celebrate the 375th anniversary of Montreal. So it's a concert in which the Orchestre Métropolitain performed music from 30 video games made in Montreal. Montreal is a big video game city. We have more than 300 video game companies. So it was important to celebrate that within the celebration of the city. So the Orchestre Métropolitain wanted to commission me an overture to open the concert. So instead, I suggested to create 3 crowd games in which the audience would control a video game by moving a giant beach ball, and the orchestra would follow the performance of the audience to highlight the good moves and the bad moves. So here's an excerpt of one of these crowd games, and pay attention to the glockenspiel and the trombone when the ball catches a star or gets hit by a meteorite.
C'est les... Ah! Oh mon Dieu! Oh mon Dieu! Crowd! Crowd! Ouais. Non. Ah.
Okay, so what were the benefits of collaborating with a composer for this specific project? So the orchestra got an original piece that celebrates a current event, the 375th anniversary of Montreal, and at the same time a piece that completes a theme program, which was a video game music concert. So the crowd game creates a direct interaction with the audience. So I remember after the concert there was a director of a video game studio who was there with his kid, and he said that he was holding his kid at the top of his arm so that the kid can touch the ball, and that the kid at the end of the concert said, wow, is orchestra concert always this fun, you know? To which his dad could have said, like, well, sometimes you can't even get to eat chocolate. So, and the crowd game also did attract some new audience. So some part of the promotion was done by saying that the audience could play a video game with a live orchestra. So a lot of people came because they were curious just to try it out. The multimedia component of this project required me to work with a programmer, but however, once the game was created, it was very easy to handle. So I simply needed to move the image of the beach ball on my laptop in the same direction as the audience was moving the beach ball in the crowd. So in this is another example of a situation in which the involvement of the composer can contribute to the concert by handling the multimedia component. And again, by collaborating with a composer, it gives the audience the opportunity to meet a composer. And in this case, by sharing thoughts and appreciation after the concert with the audience. So the project has a very strong media presence, interviews, articles, and good concert reviews. And it even gives the opportunity to the orchestra to expand their presence in some new media in which they had no presence before, like, for example, video game blogs and podcasts, and maybe potential clients. So a composer can bring a lot of benefits to the orchestra. This is why it's important to choose the composer very well, take the time to choose them before collaborating with them. So, of course, you need to like their music, but it's also very important to get along well with them. This way, working together will be stimulating, and you'll want to make the most out of your collaboration. And today, it's great because you'll have the chance to meet a lot of fantastic composers here and hear some of their unique music. So for those of you who would like to know more about my project, I invite you to go on my website, maximegoulet.com, and also to come and see me at my booth. And I have some free CDs of symphonic chocolate, and it comes with a chocolate box of the corresponding flavor. So feel free to grab one as you pass by. And thank you, and have a great conference.